Girl Bella.
Hello, babes. I am here on location today with Angela Terry from Therapy Wine Bar, and we are here to chop it up for season 3, episode 3 of Boss Babes. And I'm so glad to have her here with me. First row, please. Okay, so I know you started off in the educational system. You worked there for over 25 years. A little bit about that.
Well, so by trade, I'm a school social worker. I always say that because it's important because it helps you to understand where we are today.
Mm-hmm.
I started my career in high school, and then I went into junior high school, where I spent the bulk of my time there because understanding that whatever happened in high school really kind of transpired in middle school. Then went into elementary school, and now I'm here in early childhood education. I'm having all the fun time in my life. I'm the executive director over at Bedford Stuyvesant Early Childhood Development Center.
Okay.
You know, I want to do something different, right? And then that different was learning about wine, trying to figure it all out. What I did, I started a wine club.
Nice.
I had a wine club and we met for about 2 years. And in that wine club, we was trying to really assess like where people were in their own, lack of better word, palate. Wanted to learn about more wine, but also trying to establish something within the neighborhood, right? If you decided that you wanted a wine bar, would you go? Like what kind of foods do you like? What kind of, atmosphere do you want to have in Bedford Stuyvesant, right? So really trying to get that assessment. I love my wine club. The wine club is called 𝕊𝕦𝕡𝕒𝕟𝕜𝕤. So basically, black women in the neighborhood really learned about wine in different regions and different things. So we had our wine club for about 2 years. And after the 2 years, that's when I opened up my business. Why, we want to be able to be in wine and so forth like that. Hence came the name Therapy Wine Bar because by trade, school social worker. Being able to do group therapy, individual therapy, all those things, but we also think about therapy in a box and think about it in a way where we're like, we really can't come out of that box and understand it in the school system. People need an outlet, right. So being able to create an outlet for educators and for the neighborhood, right, and understanding that everybody needs therapy. Therapy is not that one thing to be like, oh, something wrong with us, something that I need to be able to go to. No, therapy is actually having this conversation right here, right? Being able to indulge in what you really like and being like, oh, okay, I can get up and go and my day is good.
What were their first reactions to it?
Oh, it was many. This is not black.
Oh.
There's no way that you own it.
Oh, wow.
Right, because it was like, we don't do this. We don't do wine. We don't do cheese. We don't do none of this. How you decided to open up. So when I first opened up, my partner and I, we opened up in 2009, right, on Lewis Avenue.
Yes.
And again, we're changing. The space that we had was the first space that basically was reactivated on the corridor since the 80s. Right. So of course we know what happened in the 80s, right? But now we're here, right? And we're activating. So it was a lot. And when we did open up, we only had beer and wine. And we had small plates of food. We didn't have a big kitchen or anything like that. The space that you're in now, we have a kitchen, we have a bar, we're on the corner, like all the things, that you can ever dream of being in the business. So that was the first reaction for some folks, and then other folks were ecstatic. They were like, "Oh my gosh, you're here! We're so excited that you're a black-owned business here," and it feels safe. It feels good. Like you was intentional about creating a space for us.
I love that they came in, with some kind of expectation, but then probably left away with a very good reason why they need to come back. Because it feels like home. For those out here in my audience, if you've never been here, there's a reason to come, and the reason is because it is home. It is Brooklyn. When you come in here, you just feel the vibes. You feel the vibes of Brooklyn here, and whatever music you play. I know it's a lot of R&B, and I know it's a lot of hip hop. So for me, that's heaven, and that's therapy.
Right. Music is therapy.
Music is therapy. Food is therapy, and wine, of course, is therapy as well. So I love that you mix all of those things together. And right now, Bedford-Stuyvesant is very gentrified. You get all types of people in here. So when it's more people in here, what kind of crowd do you get now?
Oh, it's very mixed now. Before when we were on Lewis Avenue, it was definitely predominantly black, and which is amazing. And then it started to change, and you started to see that as the years started to transpire. Now it's mixed, so we can't call it in terms of the day and time and when folks come. So it has gentrified a lot.
I know this business is tough. And what were some of the challenges that you faced? Because you started in 2009. Here it is, 2024. I know you got some gems and some words of wisdom for those who have also survived, everything that went on between that span of time.
I have a lot. What will I say? First and foremost, when I first opened up, right, I left my day job and I worked in the bar every day. So I was the bartender. I was the food prep person. I was the cleaner.
Wow.
I did everything.
Yeah.
So I know how operations are supposed to work within the establishment. And I would say that number one, and I didn't know anything about the food industry, the hospitality industry when I started. I was just like, oh, I have a dream. I think I want to do that. You know what? I want to do that. Let's do it. Not knowing anything. Right. So I learned. Right. So basically, when we talk to other people in the industry, they all say they have a PhD. Right. In terms of being an entrepreneur, right?
Exactly.
Solopreneur, all the things. And even with that, learning about the industry and doing the back end stuff, I'm the accountant. I do everything, right?
Yeah.
So within that, you realize how important it is for you to be able to understand all operations of your business in order for your business to really flow and grow. You can't work in your business, you got to work on your business. And that's key in terms of being able to really learn that. Right? You realize that this is really passion and love and what it is that you like to do.
Right.
Because it's not an easy industry to be in. It's quick, it's ongoing, but we really want people to understand what is it that we're really trying to, our end goal is to always be able to make sure we provide you with the service that you actually want, the experience that you want. I will also say that, in knowing that I left my job, right, that I still work. I said that in the beginning, right? So I'm going to make sure that I keep my job, right? Because I love my job. I love being a social worker. I love being an administrator. I feel like the work that I'm doing now in terms of building on the corridor, building businesses on the corridor is social work, right? It's basically how do you make communities better? How do you do all those kind of things? But I like consistency.
Yeah.
Right?
Exactly.
I like continuity, consistency, and I like getting the check.
Exactly.
Because sometimes the business don't always give you that.
That's
because
right.
You're always, I gotta pay taxes, I gotta pay staff, I gotta pay inventory. Nothing, and those three things that I just said is important for the business to run, and nothing comes to me yet.
Exactly.
Right.
So
you're always glad to be able to say, "Oh yeah, I'm getting rich with a niche." No.
No.
Nobody's
getting rich with a niche.
No. All the way last, you need to be able to figure it out, and once you figure it out, you go, okay, this is what it is. This is what it's going to yield me every month, every year. Let me just figure it out.
And what about the resources to kind of help you? Because coming as an educator into the hospitality business, and you saying that you didn't really know, were there resources that you could pull from, or did you have to really learn everything by trial and fire?
So the resources, I would say, I tell this story all the time to everybody that I get in contact with. I use my pension to open up my business. So I pulled from that, right? I borrowed from myself.
Right.
And I had my pension. I used to work at the DOE, right? And I pulled from there to be able to say, okay, you know what? I don't know what my future is going to be like. I don't know if I'm going to make 60 or whatever, but you know, I have this burning desire that I want to be able to build, and I want to build a community, right? So I did that. And then I also was like, because when you're starting to build and you're building from an empty room, you realize I need money for this, I need money for that, I need money for all these things. So then I said I went to a bank, went to the bank, and said, "Oh, I'm told that you will give out business loans, right? First business owners, right? First year business owners or up and coming business owners,
right?"
And the man said to me, he said, "Well, why would I give you a loan when you haven't given, like, what have you put into this process?
Right.
Right? Why would I give you a loan if I haven't seen any proof that you put into this process?" So basically, what have you bet on yourself?
Right.
Because why would I bet on you
if you're not betting on yourself? Exactly.
And that right there resonated a whole lot with me, right? To say, okay, small businesses, all the things, the proof that you can have income, the proof that you can generate more and more income on a daily basis, on a weekly basis. I don't know that. So I'm giving you a loan that you may never pay back.
Right.
But if I know that you bet it on yourself, you have to pay yourself back.
Right.
You're gonna work harder in order for you to say, you know what, I gotta make sure that I can have my retirement money right at the end of the time. I can flip this.
Right.
Resources, there is none.
Wow. So when it came to like writing a business plan and you did all of that yourself?
I did all of that myself. I did a lot of research. It really helped me to map out what I wanted to do and how I wanted to see everything.
Right.
So and it's a great exercise to be able to do that, right? Because when you do that, you realize that you're manifesting what you want.
So have you had any investors in all this time, or have you been solely
my partner and I parties, and we have events that helps, and tonight is a Monday night. It's not a lot of folks in there, right? So we like, oh man, so I'm looking at staff and how many staff that I have and how much is calculated. Is labor cost more than what we bought in for the night? Like all of the calculations that goes through, and I'm like, all right, how do I turn that off and be able to sit? But no, there are no investors. This is my partner and I.
Okay, so again, you started in 2009. It's 2024 now. So you have survived the COVID pandemic. What lessons have you learned coming out of that?
So what I would say is that when we left, we closed down one. When we was over at Lewis Avenue, we closed down in 2017. When we closed, we acquired this space that we're sitting in right now in 2017.
Wow.
We could not open this space because we had no funds. We opened this space in 2021. So November 11th was our 3rd-year anniversary opening this space, right? So we built a kitchen. We didn't have a kitchen at the other space. The other space was a backyard, so people were able to remember all those aspects of it. And while we opened up the kitchen, because we learned from the other space that we were at, we needed to generate another income. When you have a business, you need to look at everything. How can you build and generate more income within the business that you're in, right? If I can sell shirts, wine, liquor, food, the space, like everything you're looking at, because it's all about bottom line, right? So that was basically So when we did open, we opened up when Omicron was here in November 11, 2021. And it was extremely stressful. So even so with that, right, I opened up and we call this 2.0 because 2.0 has a kitchen, right? Again, we're on the avenue.
Yes.
You know, we try to see ourselves as that marker, you know, in terms of the corridor. It was extremely hard. Again, I was the bartender. I was the person in the kitchen. I was I opened, I closed. I was still working, you know, my full-time job as an administrator. And what I would say is that, and it's not only COVID, you know, it's beyond COVID. Right? It's like, once you know what it is that you want to do, you have to be prepared to be everything.
Right.
And a lot of times, you know, like the misconception can come when folks turn around and say, well, I'm a boss. And I don't like that word, boss. I don't. And people who are in my position, who's been bosses for a long time, we could all kind of agree to what we're saying, what we're about to say. Because when you're a boss, everything is on you.
Everything is on you.
And you're like, I don't want everything to be
and sometimes you're right. Sometimes you want to not have everything be on
separate, you. Right? But you got your payroll, your fiscal, your HR, your operation, and you're in your direct service.
Right.
You don't understand all that.
Yeah, that's
right?
A lot of hats to wear.
And when you at your regular job, who are you?
Right.
You sit in the role of what?
Right, director, and managing a staff, and doing all
that's what you do.
Right.
You are not all those departments. So when you're in this
one,
role, right, you're in all departments. So
many hats for one role.
You have many hats when you're boss, and it is a lot. But even with COVID and beyond COVID, when you realize what it is, whatever it is that you want to do, you gotta be steadfast, understand, and know this is what I'm going to do, and I'm prepared. Right. Emotionally.
Yes.
Probably not financially, right? But emotionally, like, this is the work that I'm prepared to do to make it happen. We always saw ourselves to be, and we continue to see ourselves being bigger than what we are, you know, in multiple places. You know, we talk about airports all the time.
Yes.
Right? And that requires a whole nother level of like lift. Writing the plan, connecting to the people, doing all the things, right?
That would be great. I would love to see a therapy in LaGuardia.
I gotta go to therapy first, and then I can get on the plane, right?
Exactly.
So that has definitely been like a tap and go, and like, you know, the position that I'm in right now, it requires a lot for me to be able to build and really take them to another level of operation than I'm doing right now with them. But I would love to be able to see that for therapy. Therapy is, you know, my baby. It's the thought that came to mind. It was like this idea to say, what can I do in Bedside? How can I lift and build and beautify Bedside? I believe I've done that, you know, throughout the years. It's amazing to see us come and support